afternoon, guys. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So we asked you guys on Instagram if you had any like issues, whether it be personal, relationship issues, literally whatever, and we're just going to be like talking about those problems, offering advice, and just trying to give you a different perspective, I guess.
So we've decided to make a series out of this video, from this video. So if you like it, or you have any feedback or any questions you want to throw in, and for us to give you a perspective on, throw it down in the comments, and I'm sure it'll be a very interesting series for you guys to enjoy.
Okay, so obviously Instagram is going to show people's names, and we did say it would be anonymous. However, I feel like people were a bit scared to really send in problems. We did get a few good ones though. So, well, let's see. Okay, the first question is body confidence and how to improve it. You say that?
I think coming down to body confidence, it is a matter of accepting what your body is at the moment and trusting the process, not falling down the rabbit hole of wanting to focus on losing the weight and scales. You trusting the process will be a big positive impact.
Yeah, I think like if you focus on it too much, like whether your goal be losing weight or just anything, if you focus on it too much, it can just become very like obsessive, and you don't really realize the progress you're making, and you can't really like appreciate that. So yeah, I agree, like you gotta appreciate where you're at now while still wanting to like be better or look better or achieve like that confidence. And I think like there's a big part of it that is up to what you're doing physically and how you're treating your body, but also just like your mindset and how you see yourself. Like only you can change that. So whether it be just doing your own research and surrounding yourself with people who are very body positive and don't like body shame, I think that's like very important. And yeah, just don't be so hard on yourself, because you've only got one body, and
one body, one life.
How you treat yourself is how you're gonna feel. So yeah, I think everyone struggles with like body image. It's just how they deal with it, and yeah, how they overcome those feelings.
I feel like if you are trying to lose that weight, each week's gonna be different. Like each week's gonna be different with the number you might lose or how you feel. So put it into simple terms, just focus on the positive win for the week. Then that'll build that momentum of process.
Yeah. Okay. Also, another thing I want to say about that is like, don't be ashamed to get dressed up, look cute, and like take some photos or do something that makes you feel confident, like without feeling ashamed of that or feeling like you're, you know, trying to be arrogant or trying to like show yourself in a certain way. Like just, you don't understand like how powerful those things are when you do them. And yeah, it can be very like empowering, and I feel like there's kind of a misconception about that kind of stuff, because there is such a, what would you call it?
You can get more respect out of being yourself and genuine.
Yeah. Just don't be afraid of what other people are gonna say or think if you are coming across a certain way, because you know, you need to put yourself first and do those sort of things. Otherwise your confidence probably isn't going to be as high if you're just kind of accepting how you feel about yourself. Like you need to constantly like put in effort to try and change your mindset about your own body. There's a green juice, by the way.
Grape juice.
Saturday night vibes. Okay. Second is, this is kind of long. So, how to cope with your boyfriend talking about other female features to you when he knows you're insecure, and he will be like, wow, she has a huge ass, and that's something you're insecure about. I think it's hard because I'm not just going to say, oh, leave him, because I know that it's not that simple, and if you are in a relationship with someone, you're going to want to try and make it work. But anyway, I think like if you're with someone who's deliberately doing that stuff to make you feel bad or to kind of poke at your insecurities, I know that that's like the one thing that most girls don't want in their relationship, and some guys just don't really realize that. And you know, I think like we can all accept that there's always going to be attractive people, and there's always going to be people that you or your partner think are attractive, but like you don't need to share that information or, you know, make sure they know that, because like there's no point in doing that. It's only going to make the vibe between you two worse, and it's just going to make you think that you're not good enough. So the only thing you can really do in this situation, I think, is like talk to him, tell him specifically that like you don't like that and that's how it makes you feel. And if he tries to tell you that like you're in the wrong, then that's a red flag, and you know that you can't have those conversations or express your feelings, and then you just need to make that decision from there, because that's not a healthy relationship, and you don't want to be in that and thinking that that's, you know, the standard, and that you just need to accept that, because you don't. What do you think?
From a guy's perspective, I feel like if you are switched on with those things, you know you shouldn't be saying those things unless it's about your girlfriend. And that's where it comes down to communication. So there probably was a point where he could say that and she was fine. You could be fine about it, but obviously there comes to a point where like a certain person might say it too often, and you might get the wrong idea that he actually thinks that he wants them instead of you. So that's where the communication comes in again, where there's stops any confusion and toxicity to be able to begin.
Yeah, I guess it's different like if you're not together at the start and you're making those kind of comments and like you're not in a committed relationship. Is that what you mean? Like you're not like 100% together and, you know, it's a little bit casual.
No, it's like it's the same thing. And he's constantly saying she hasn't obviously said anything to him about it. And if she has, then it's a red flag, for sure.
I don't know. I just think guys should know better not to say that kind of stuff, just as like girls wouldn't do that and be like, oh my god, this guy has like the best body, like, you know, if say a guy's like self-conscious about his like abs, or he's not as lean as he wants to be, or he's like overweight, whatever, who's gonna feel the exact same way? So it works both ways. It's just not always girls and insecurities. Like guys have insecurities too, they just don't really talk about them as much. But I feel like it should just be a standard that like you don't do that when you're in a relationship at all.
But what makes a guy think it's okay from the start and you keep doing it, even though he's meant to know that?
But that's just on him, you know? Okay. How to keep on top of loving yourself both in a relationship and while single. I think for self-love, if you're, so she said both in a relationship and single, so I think when you're single, first of all, don't fall into the trap that you always have to be talking to a million people and seeing a heap of people and like using that as a way to boost your self-esteem and how you feel about yourself, because that's not really self-love. Like self-love is how you see yourself, and you should be able to be happy by yourself without everyone else's validation. So yeah, just don't fall into that trap, because I'm sure we've all done it before. And yeah, just actually focus on little things that you can do to make yourself feel good. And obviously when you're single, make sure you've got those like solid friendships and people you can do things with, like go for walks, go out for brunch, like doing things like that whilst also being like independent. And that'll make you just appreciate yourself a bit more. And
Another one I feel is it comes down to a spiritual discipline action. So you want to think outside the box of, instead of self-love affirmations like I am good, I am loved, I'm beautiful type of thing. You want to think of how can I serve someone today. So if you had a friend that was having trouble in a relationship, it's all either help them out with something that could better their position, or you can pray for them. And with that consistency of spiritual discipline, you learn how to become selfless and just serve others without expecting anything back. And by doing that, you're most likely to attract more positive energy towards your life, which will in fact help you to stay in touch with yourself.
Mm.
Right? You want to check with that?
I'm eating, I'm saying sorry, I'm falling off that. Yeah, so I think like obviously being selfish and selfless at the same time kind of comes down to like doing things for yourself, but also trying to, like what Jack was saying, like do things for other people, because that makes you more whole as a person. And yeah, so I'd say like in a relationship, the things that you can do to like practice self-love, making sure you're not always like relying on that person and that you're doing your own thing as well. So don't base your whole life around someone else's routine and what they're doing and their friends. Like you need to obviously do things for yourself, and yeah, just be happy doing that. And yeah, so kind of the same sort of things as well with when you're single, just like doing those basics, like having a bath, going for walks, doing anything that makes you like appreciate yourself more and can just make you like slow down from everyday life. And yeah, just taking time out for yourself, I guess, because if you love yourself, then the whole relationship will just flow a little bit better, and you can both focus on like how you can serve each other.
Just slowly.
Okay, next question is, how do you stop a relationship from going flat or boring after the honeymoon stage?
I don't really believe in a honeymoon stage, because the whole relationship should be full of love, laughter, and
Live, love.
a lot of enjoyment. So that comes down to back again to communication and putting everything on the line, not 100% all in type of thing. And I guess having a clear indication of what that person wants and needs every day from you, and likewise for them for you.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you can do that, then you're well on your way to keeping everything out of the honeymoon period, and it'll always feel like the honeymoon period, because that's what it should be. So you not only should be lovers, but you should be best friends, working at an end goal together, as well as all your own goals too.
Good. I feel like yeah, some things you can do to make sure you aren't getting in that kind of phase where you get complacent and you just lose all like the romance, I guess, is just you've got to know that it's not always going to be easy. And even like with your sex life and just things like that, like it's not always going to come naturally. Like you've got to think about the fact that when you first meet someone, it might not be like the feelings of love as such, like it's lust, and it's those emotions that someone's new. And obviously if you've been in a relationship for a while, you're gonna get those same like feelings sometimes, but it's not just gonna be a natural thing that you're gonna get every single day, day in, day out. Like you just need to accept that like you're gonna have to put in a lot of effort and work. Like it's not just gonna happen naturally. So you've just got to keep like communicating and checking in with your partner with like what their needs are, because again, they could be changing all the time as that person grows. So you got to respect that. And something that we do in the mornings is like ask each other how we can be our best teammates. So we ask that, and then just whatever we might need that day to feel more loved or to help each other out, that's what we'll like focus on for the day.
I feel like how can I be your best teammate? It's not necessarily like how can I be your best teammate on the team, like yeah, let's get a hit home run type of thing. It's more one day you might say for me, one day I might want to hurt Bella just to tell a joke or two. Another day I might want a hug every hour type of thing. That way, by doing that, you're on the same page. It takes all the guessing game out of it. It's like you might
have to read each other's mind.
Oh, she seems angry, but if you don't ask the question, you don't know. So the whole day you could be thinking she's angry, and really she's just stressed about something else, but she doesn't want to talk about it unless you bring it up, type of thing.
And like, obviously those little things like assuming and doing all that stuff is going to in turn like ruin your kind of romance and your vibe together. Like you're going to find that it's starting to feel like it might go downhill and you're not sure why, and you just need to go like back to basics and just realize that you need to constantly put in this work and that it's not just going to happen naturally, because I'm sure with every single relationship and friendship and everything in life, like if you just stop messaging your friends and asking them to hang out, like that relationship or that friendship is just gonna not work because there's no effort. Like it's the same with a relationship. Even if you guys do live together or you're around each other all the time, it doesn't necessarily mean that like you're putting in that effort to be aware of all this stuff and make sure that you are always like the romance is alive. And it's also like doing little things like date nights and stuff like that, and not turning into like a 50-year-old couple at the age of 20. So yeah, that's what we like have talked a lot about. So okay,
Say hello.
Next question is, how do I set boundaries without hurting people's feelings?
Is not to worry about the feelings. Pretty much. Just put it on the line, say these are your boundaries, or just how you feel. I mean, if they get hurt by it, it's really on them, I feel.
I think it depends how you go about it. You still go about
obviously,
it.
Obviously, you don't want to be so abrupt, but
you don't bug in.
Just say, this is what I'm feeling, and just go from there.
I think like, first you obviously need to establish like what your boundaries are and make it clear, so when you're communicating that to someone, you've got a clear idea of what it is and why you've got that boundary, and yeah, just how that is gonna affect the both of you, and you need to have like a proper discussion about it, and you know, just justify like why you feel that way so they can hopefully understand. Otherwise they might just think you're being mean or you are rejecting them or whatever. So obviously go about it in a way that's not just straight up rude, but still put yourself first, and remember that when you're setting a boundary with someone, like you are doing it for yourself because you don't want any like negative energy or toxic friendships. And yeah, sometimes you just need to take a dive into the deep end, because you never know what someone's going to say, or you never know how people are going to react unless you're honest with them. So you just need to trust that you're doing the right thing, and yeah, so be kind to people while still having boundaries.
I didn't really get any questions, just silly questions from all my friends and stuff. Silly things. So I've got one serious question. How to not get jealous?
This is probably like the most common question I think these days, because you're exposed to so many things that can make you jealous or like trigger those feelings, because social media is such a big thing these days. You can't really like escape that and just not be on it. So you've got to figure out how you can kind of deal with that in a healthy way. Firstly, like you need to understand that like there's going to be triggers everywhere if you are a jealous person, and you gotta...
Fellas are jealous.
Well, I think like...
It's just crazy. Nah, just kidding. I love you.
I think like a bit of jealousy is always good, because if you're not jealous, then like do you really love the person that much?
I don't really believe in that.
I do. I think it's like anything. It's
It
like,
could be like-
it's like anxiety. Like a little bit of anxiety is good, but if it's too much, it's
Yeah,
not
but
good.
if
There's
you're
like
not
a
jealous
spectrum.
of someone, that doesn't necessarily mean that love.
Yeah, I know, but I just think like a little bit of jealousy is healthy. Like, don't think that you need to have zero
Yeah,
jealousy, because
that's
like
fine.
I know that girls are different than guys, and it'll generally be girls that will get jealous, or guys will get jealous, but they'll go about it in a different way. That's like they're not jealous, if you know what I mean. Like they'll kind of hide it under other things, and they don't like to admit that. Whereas girls are very like, yep, I'm a jealous person, whatever. So
I don't know, guys are pretty crazy.
yeah, but that's what I mean. They do it in a way where it's like
I know, but
they're not jealous. They kind of like put it back on the girl and whatever. That's how I like think it typically goes. But I think like if you're jealous, you just need to remember that like they're with you for a reason, and that if they want to be with other people, they like wouldn't be with you. So that's like the bottom line. You kind of just need to trust them. And yeah, if you don't have any trust, then
it's all over, big over.
you're bad.
Yeah.
Anything else from
Hmm?
Anything else from But if you are in the moment where like you are jealous and you're trying to like deal with that, you obviously need to talk to your partner about it and just like see what their perspective is, because they might not even know that they're like making you jealous. They might not be aware of it, but they also like might be super manipulative. So you just need to have that like conversation and know where you stand with them, and yeah, just be honest.
What's some halloumi on
Just
the
be
honest sauce?
honest. Yeah, well, hope you guys enjoyed this video.
That concludes
Hopefully we'll
a
be
lovely
doing-
series of goodness.
DNMs. Hopefully we'll be continuing this, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video.